Wait,
Oh,
what's
God.
stuck? What?
The burp is stuck. That's
What's
the
a
worst
burp?
fucking timing.
A
It's
burp is
stuck.
stuck in your throat.
Shut up.
I could
Don't
think of
say
a
it.
lot of things. I could think of a lot of things that could be stuck in your throat.
I said shut up, and you're still talking.
Yeah, like Teddy's nut.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
It has nothing to
Jay.
do with me. Nothing.
I don't think you'll be able to choke on that skinny thing.
Mm. Oh yeah, that's true. That'll slither right down.
Out?
Fuck.
You mean out?
Nah, she
Have you
swallows.
Victoria, you see what I gotta put up with every fucking day with these two
Yeah,
knuckleheads?
no.
See, I wouldn't say anything about Vic like that.
Why me though?
Cause you annoying as fuck.
How? How? Please.
I plead the fifth.
What?
Nah, I plead the fifth.
He
I plead the fifth.
He stayed pleading the fifth. He's not even from this country.
Pow.
I'm fucking
Neither are you.
dead. That makes it even funnier, bro.
You can't plead the fifth.
Oh my god.
I
that
can
makes it
plead
so
wherever
funnier.
the fuck I want. Who's gonna stop me?
The UK doesn't have a constitution.
I don't give a fuck. Who gonna stop me? Who got the balls to stop me? Nobody. Well then.
Okay. Coffee.
Yes.
How's David this time of year?
Oh, go fuck yourself. Why are you bringing up the fucking midget?
I gotta bring up the past. I gotta bring up the midgets. I gotta bring up everybody that's tall, short, fat, hairy. Okay. The reason being, Coffee, I'm curious to know why it didn't work out. Was it because he's white?
No, it's because she's black.
No, it did not work because when I first started to go out with him, I did not see any red flags at all. I was more vigilant. I was paying more attention, but I had these gut feelings. Like I think a couple of weeks before I actually broke it off, and I told my best friend like, "Yo, there's something up." I'm told her, she's like, "Follow your gut." And the same exact week I told her, everything started to fucking happen. Everything went wrong. We were planning a trip together. And he asked me if I got my passport yet. And I said, not yet. He said, if you don't get your passport, I'm going to leave without you. And he did. Dead ass, I know. And he had a niece I think a month ago. I held her for the first time because I love babies. And so I said, hey, look how beautiful your niece is. And he's like, I don't care. And then the second time I held her, he said the exact same thing. And he was showing me all these weird ass shit, the way he was talking. It was very uncomfortable. So that's when I realized, like, no, it's done. That's it. That's a jerk. Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Even the things he would say, like, I think 2 weeks before we were supposed to leave, that it blew me off completely.
Sounds like you guys just had like a lot of like conflicting like philosophy.
Toxic energy.
You guys clashed, right? Why do you think that has to do with your philosophies, your culture, your upbringing being different from his?
That's a good question. You know what? I am not really sure. I think the thing is, though, I think in the first few months, everything was good. You understand? But I think after a while, he got very comfortable to the point where he was trying to show me who he really was. Because that's the thing. Whenever you're meeting somebody, everything's so great. They have a mask. But when you get so damn comfortable with that person, you're like, okay, mask's off. Here I am. You're stuck. You're stuck with me. You see? So I don't know. I never really thought of that. It's actually a good question.
Yeah, Victoria, you've been in interracial relationships too, I'm sure, right? So I know you're Colombian, right? You had a very like, I would say, unorthodox upbringing, right?
Yeah.
So do you find, because I know you're very open-minded. That's one
Yes.
thing that I observed, right? Uh how about your experience basically dating people who are not of the same culture as yours?
I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I guess what's the question? Like specifically.
Yeah, so you know what's your experience with dating someone of another culture been like?
All right. So I'll say this. As far as like serious long-term relationships, I've been with one Hispanic and then two whites. That's been long-term relationships. Those have been my three. So it's weird because I feel like they were very similar because it's like I was raised by white people. So it's like, although I'm Hispanic, like when you look at me, I don't like come from like a Hispanic family.
Yeah, a lot of
So
people would
it's
say you
like,
sound
Right.
white.
yeah, yeah, thank you. You love to fucking tell me that, bro.
If
Fucking
I don't
tell me
remind
that.
you, nobody will. So.
Yeah, that's probably true. So I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, but I don't know. I don't really look at it like that. I guess I don't know. I just kind of take people for who they are.
Mm,
But I mean, yeah, obviously their upbringing has to do with it, but I don't know. I've not read that deep into it, I guess.
gotcha. Some people
It's
do,
true.
bro. That's why it's like,
Yeah.
that's why I find it interesting to talk about. What about you, Jay? What was your experience like with people who were like of a different race,
I
culture?
think I think if you and that person take interest in your own culture, you enjoy your culture, then you're gonna enjoy the other person's culture as well, right?
Right.
Now, I enjoy my culture. I've got two different cultures, so I enjoy both of them, right? Now, if I'm macking on with someone, I can show them both cultures,
Right.
both sides of it. Both sides are exotic, so people people enjoy both cultures. And if my significant other, let's say the person's white, they don't enjoy their culture, then I'm not gonna enjoy it. So it for me, it depends on if the other person enjoys their culture, I'm gonna enjoy it as well. Because then they're gonna show me all the good sides of it. The food. So let's say I'm in America, right? I'm messing with this Hispanic chick, Colombian, whatever, Mexican, whatever. She enjoy her culture, I'm gonna enjoy it as well. If she doesn't, then I'm not gonna enjoy it because then she's not gonna show me the best things of her culture. She's just not gonna bother with it.
Right.
That's
I
how I
feel
feel.
I feel like, okay, so all of us have been in like interracial relationships, myself included, right? I've dated like a lot of Hispanics. I've dated a lot of white girls. Like, my dating history is pretty like, diverse. I think the reasons for that, right? The reasons being is that, one, I'm gonna start with our generation. We're not like our parents. We're not like our grandparents. We're not like our aunts, our uncles, who are a bit more closed-minded, right? They're more centralized and focused on what's in front of them, which is their culture, the way they were raised, the way their parents raised them. I think
Right.
we were raised in an era where we went to school, right? We were, very social, children, and then we that kind of like transitioned into us being adults, where we kind of even took it another step further, right? We're familiar with history. We learned about our history in America, right? And throughout, globally, we learned about all of that history, and I think that had a huge role to play in our take, right? So I feel like
Mm.
our generation put it upon themselves to like, okay, we understand that this is the way things were. This is the way, we intend to do things now, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So I feel also that geographically where you are has something to do with you got the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got the same. Okay, yeah. I feel like geographically it has to do with it as well. So Jay's in the UK, right? You're in Buffalo. Coffee's in Canada, right? Um,
Fuck's sake.
it's Canada. I said
It's
Canada.
Canada.
It's
Canada.
Like me.
Canada. Yeah, Canada. You guys hunt.
Canada.
You guys hunt mooses and meese.
Ma! Ma, come outside! There's a fucking moose! Or a buffalo or some shit they're fighting! Where the fuck are you going? Ma! Holy shit! This is some fucking National Geographic shit! Ma, call the fucking cops or the ASPCA! There's animals fighting in the front lawn!
Here we fucking go.
And goose and geese.
Yeah. You guys just weird, bro. But I feel like geographically, right? For example, I'm just gonna use myself as an example, right? I was born and raised in New York City. It don't get more diverse than that. We literally got every you're right. So I feel like that had a huge part to play in what I, you know,
in your upbringing.
Right, in my upbringing and in what I'm, grew up around, right? I grew up around a very traditional family as well, right? They pretty much like stuck to their culture, their people, music, everything is like, with that hand in hand, right? I took a liking into diversity, right? Because I liked the different cultures and everything that I was seeing around me, right? So I even made friends. I had Mexican friends. I that had a huge part to play in me dating Latinas, right? Because I would, for example, you guys just gave a little bit of like, specifically of what you guys did in your dating history. My little 2 cents on that, I would go over to my friend's house. He was Mexican, right? His mom would cook like arroz con frijoles, like the way the Mexicans smash it up and it's like a sauce, like
Man.
the black beans. And I would literally eat, and I was never a shy kid. All right, I feel like that is also something else. We're all open-minded. That's another thing. This our generation is very open-minded. We're not afraid to integrate. So me going over to his house and eating his food and having a little crush on his sister, I feel like that all played into, me learning about his culture, liking his culture, liking the woman. And I think all of that goes hand in hand. Right. So I feel like that's what made interracial dating a bit easier for me. Now it does come with its challenges, right? Now I'm gonna start this off, right? I went on dates, right? And just as I am, right? Obviously dressed a bit better, right?
Really?
I'm sitting across, definitely, 100%, right? So I'm sitting across the table from.
Real quick, one question.
I mean, as long as it's not
male,
Patriots, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Well, you just a hater, bro. Like you see, I mean, this is an old. Obviously, you could tell it's a bit old.
Bro,
right?
I promise you, if I showed up on a date with you and you had a Patriots fucking shirt on,
But the Patriots.
You guys can say what you want now. I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a football guy. You guys say anything about the Yankees now, we gonna have problems because now I'm gonna sit here and shut everybody the fuck down.
Anybody watch this podcast and you're a fan of Patriots, fuck you too.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th! What a comeback!
And that's period poop.
And that's coming from let me just I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
that's coming from
the only
a nigga
reason
from
why I'm not
UK.
gonna I'm not gonna be, I'm not even a bandwagon, but the only reason why I'm not gonna defend it is because I'm not even a huge football guy no more like that. But I'm a Brooklyn Nets and New York Yankees fan, bro. Like, so like two different sports. But so I go on a date. I'm sitting across the table from whether a significant other, a hookup, it could be whoever the hell it is, right? Also depends on what zip code I'm in. Let's just say she's a white girl. I'm sitting across from her, right? We're at a restaurant and there's a bunch of white people, right? They're giving me the eye. Like, and then in their mind, right? This is me sitting thinking, what's going through my mind? Oh, they're probably thinking, oh man, look at that nigger. Look at that fucking, look at that nigger with her. Like, like, why is she dating that piece of trash? You get what I'm saying, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm beating myself up thinking, why are these people giving me dirty looks? And I'm gonna think that there's something wrong with me and blah blah blah. So that kind of brings about a certain kind of like I don't know, stress or something like that about dating interracially, right? I've experienced that multiple times, and I'll say that I also experienced it dating.
Yeah, that happened to me once.
Dating Hispanic. So I want to know what if you guys ever experienced anything like that. So since you say that you experienced something like that, what was that like?
I was with a white chick, and this is in school, right? So I was talking to this white chick, and we were macking on and shit. It was around Christmas time, so she gave me a kiss before going home. And a couple of white dudes who really liked her came up to me, like, started being racist, like, we don't know why the fuck she dating this guy, blah, blah, blah. I turn around and I go, maybe it's because I got a big good dick. And maybe I'm exotic. That's why. She don't like white fellas. Bruh, all of them shut up. None of them came after me after that. I'll go, how about you ask her and not come after me? She can tell you why she like me and not like you. That's the thing.
Man, sounds similar to mine, but
thing is, if someone looking at me that way, the way you were saying in a restaurant, if they come up to me, I'm gonna say something cocky like that. If they don't, and from far they're judging me, I'm gonna just get up and kiss her and rub it in their face that way.
You see, okay, relative to what your experience, it took me a while, and I'll say that I was in a 3-year relationship with this one girl, right? And that helped me overcome this whole thing.
Phobia.
It's not even a phobia. It's something that's always in the back of my mind. Like, I'm not good enough for this person, especially being somebody that's a minority, right? So it happened in the bowling alley. There was this Hispanic family, right? I don't know if they were Salvadorian, Honduran, whatever they were. And they were staring at me like I don't belong with this girl, right? And she saw them doing it too. Mind you, I'm there with her sister, her siblings who were younger, and some friends, right? It made me feel hella uncomfortable. That was the first time, like one of the, okay, it happened to me on like a New York City bus where they called me names and stuff like that in Spanish, but that's different. That was my first time experiencing it. And you know what? I felt it because I actually liked, like I was in love, sadly, with the person that I was, right? So no, don't do that. Don't do that. Not anymore. This is all past.
Look, he's blushing.
No. Jay, don't do that. Leave him alone. Come on.
Okay, so they were giving me the most nastiest eye. And I was like, man, that shit felt so uncomfortable. She saw it. And it happened before with her, like while we went out to like a club. We went out to like we went bar hopping, and it happened, So this was one of the times that it kind of bothered me, and I told her how I felt about it, and then she kind of helped me get over it she threw her arms around me. She told me to be just like, don't pay them no mind. She kind of told me how to like, she told me things that I was like, she told me actions that I should fucking like put forward as far as like helping me like get rid of it mentally, right?
Right.
Mentally block it. So and I thought I would practice it at the bowling alley. So she put her arms around me while they were looking, right? I put my arms around her and I gave him a look, right? And then like when she got up to go bowl, I slapped that ass. Like I was like, I started doing things. I started doing things intentionally, like, yeah, I'm fucking a Mexican bitch. Or what are you gonna do about it, slut? Like, you get what I'm saying? And I was like, I literally, and you know what? That helped me. And it literally helped me. And it reminded me of the philosophy that helped me broke a lot of insecurities that I used to once battle, right? Because I always say, once I started not giving a fuck about what people think, that gave me the most peace. Literally, just like this podcast, me being on YouTube and shit, anybody watching, I don't give a fuck. You could talk about my appearance, what's behind me, what's in front of me. I don't give a shit. That's not the way to get to somebody like me. So I think it made me a bit mentally tough going through those things. And I want to hear if you guys been through something like that too, because you guys, I feel like this is just my opinion. For women, you guys battle that differently, even though it's an interracial relationship. Coffee, I know you're in Canada, right? And there's a reason why I said that, just so you don't fucking battle
There's
me.
a
With
lot of
Canadians,
racism there too.
right?
Yes,
No,
there is. Yes, there is.
right?
Yeah, we have a lot of that over here.
Yeah. So you being a black woman in Canada, right? The way you say it.
Thank you.
Okay. You being a black woman in Canada, right?
Canada.
And dating like midget white people, and you know, I get you feel sorry for the short white men, but
It was the first short black. He was the very first short white guy I've ever been with. But to be honest, though, to answer your question, especially in my area, we do experience, a whole shit ton of racism. So when I started to go out with him, we would go get breakfast every single Saturday. That was our thing. And of course, there'd be like one or two black people there, or there'd be none. I'll be the only one. People would just be staring like this. Be like, hey, Jexter, look at that. And I'll look at them, I stare at them dead ass until they just turn around, look at their stale, plain ass, cold ass food. Because look, yeah, it's uncomfortable at first, but once you know how to humble yourself and not give anyone else that fucking power, it's the best feeling in the world. You just don't give a shit, because at the end of the day, when those fuckers want to make you feel uncomfortable for being in an interracial relationship, they get to go home happy and they get to go sleep without any type of worries, while you get to have the shit on the plate. You see, if you want to be happy, do what you gotta do to be happy. That's it. That's all. That's it. I mean, I've had those things a lot of times.
Victoria, you ever dealt with anything like that in Buffalo?
Yeah.
So I never been to. So you're. I'm in I'm in Dutchess County, but you're, I would say 6 hours away. You're like near Canada, right?
Canada.
I give up.
That's the right pronunciation.
I got beef with Canada, and I'm even being respectful of how to fucking pronounce it.
Thank you, Victoria. Why can't you be like Victoria? What's wrong?
It's Canada. The right pronunciation is Canada.
So you're an idiot.
I'm going by Webster's Dictionary, which was written by an American.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, that's all you need to know right there.
Okay, Canada, right? You're literally not that far from Toronto. You're like near Buffalo, and you're in Buffalo,
I'm in Buffalo,
downtown Buffalo, right? So that's pretty. I never been up that way. I never really would go up that way. There's no reason for me to go up that way. But except if you were paying for my drinks. But I don't know. I don't know what it's like in Buffalo, but I don't know what the demographics look like. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what when you step out of your door in downtown Buffalo every day, I don't know what you see. So from what our discussions, I know you've dated black guys. I know you dated white guys. You tasted the rainbow. It's cool. Like, okay. What's your experience like concerning the environment you're in?
It's super uncomfortable. I clock it every time I go out with anybody. It's like, oh man, I don't want to say Buffalo is super racist, but it is like, and it has been for so long. Like, it's so segregated here. Like, everybody has like their own area. Like, it literally, like, every part of the like entire city, like suburbs, everything. Yeah, it's like super, like low key. Yeah, so it's like, and it's like we were talking about earlier. Like, I tend to date large men, so it's like really extra uncomfortable when it's like somebody who's significantly bigger than me, because it's like I don't want to escalate a situation. I don't want to. I used to be like a super confrontational person.
Yeah,
and
she
I
ain't
had
dating Ford Explorers. She's dating F-150s. Just so you guys know.
what the fuck? Anyways, but yeah, so it's just like I don't know. Like in the past, like I feel like I used to be somebody who would say something or to like who would speak up, but now I'll be more like Coffee, like say, like I'll just stare back at you, like make you feel uncomfortable, but I won't say anything unless there's a reason, but highly unlikely I will say anything.
It sounds like all four of us developed that I don't give a fuck attitude.
Well, yeah, because when you really like somebody, right? Like when you really like somebody, that fear, that discomfortness, it shouldn't really be in the fucking way, because there's so much things you can do with that potential somebody, you know what I'm saying? But when you have that fear in the way, it's gonna destroy so many opportunities, man.
No,
a lot of people do that. Some people.
That need to say two things. One, where Coffee is, right? Quebec. There's a lot of French people. French people are the racist motherfuckers on earth, right?
Yes, they are.
That's why there's a lot of racism in Quebec. Now, if you go Toronto, you go Ontario, they really don't give a fuck if you're sitting with a white, a black, an Indian, a Mexican, a Chinese, a Japanese, Thai. They don't care about your business.
Right.
If you're sitting having breakfast, they probably just look at your plate, walk away, because they want to see what you ordered. That's it. Toronto, Ontario, a lot of the population are friendly because there's not a lot of French. People do speak French there because that's the first language of Canada. But Quebec and the other places down the other end, they're racist.
Yeah, they are.
That's why black people, and especially people who look like Coffee, they get racism.
That look like Coffee.
That look like Coffee. Why'd you have to call her out like that? No. Coffee.
No.
Yes.
In Canada, right? Okay, you guys speak French.
Canada.
You speak
Yes,
French.
I do.
And you speak English. Is that the only
Bonjour.
right? I don't know what it's like in Canada, the area that you're in, right? But the N-word.
My nigga.
Do you hear that often? Does it come up? What's that issue like in Canada?
She had to light that shit first.
Well, the only time I ever hear that is in French, is when the person is fucking racist. That's the only time I've ever heard that. I've been here for nearly 25 years. That's the only time I hear people say that shit. And how old are you, Jay? 8 months
22.
old?
22.
Oh, baby, holy shit.
Damn.
No wonder why you're acting like a baby. Need your diaper changed more often.
Come and change it.
He would love that. He wants you to wipe from back to front.
Why don't you volunteer, Teddy? Since you love kids so much, go volunteer. Go on.
Me?
No, I want you.
I'm not skilled. I'm not skilled in motherly figures. You pass kidney stones in children like it's nothing.
Who the hell am I? Mary fucking Poppins now.
Don't
Come
volunteer.
on.
No, you can't be Mary Poppins.
Ask Victoria then. Sorry, Victoria, to do this to you, honey, but Victoria, would you like to volunteer?
Fuck no, I want you.
Is your name Victoria?
It's my ass, so it's my choice.
Oh,
my ass, my choice.
Jesus Christ.
My body, my choice. My ass, my choice.
I can't argue that.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but no. That's Mary Poppins, yeah?
So you mean to tell me every time they if they only use it like in an insulting or racist way, they don't, so like they're not influenced by like American culture, like our like rap music and shit, like they don't say nigga, they just use it as like a slander towards like black people.
That, and sometimes when they listen to like good music and they have the N-word in it, they're gonna say it, of course, but like verbally, they just if they don't like a black person in particular, it's gonna come out. because someone I knew labeled me that.
Mhm.
So that was the only time I've ever heard him say it.
Talking about racism, right? I got a really interesting question. Now I know American blacks, West Indians in America, whatever. If you're dark skinned, you're gonna say the word nigger, right? Do black people in France, in Canada, say
Uh-huh.
nigger?
Like I said, like if it's towards a person because they're angry or they're just racist, they're either gonna say the N-word or they're gonna like move their car or move their kids away from you, and that's pretty much it. That's all they really do around here. Or
So
they follow
even
you
so
around the
even so
store.
so you're saying like we use the N word on a daily basis, right? You saying black
Hmm.
people in Canada don't use it.
I never heard them say it.
So it's similar to the UK then. Here,
I
because don't forget that culture started in America. Teddy has said
Yeah.
this all the way through
yeah
you both, right?
I
yeah
remind people that because there's a lot of people from Europe, all these lives, French, UK, they like to argue that word and say like you can't say this, you can't say that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You shouldn't be saying that. That's the word nigga was derived in the United States.
Now the
You
thing is,
Europeans shouldn't be saying anything about it.
only people who know everything, the whole history about that word, are truthfully Americans, right? Because it came from there.
yeah
British people
it did.
don't know the whole story behind it. The offensive word is nigger, er.
Yeah, that's what people
The
say when
way
they're
we
angry around
say it,
here.
nigger. That's Nigga.
Yeah,
That's not
but that
offensive. That's like saying
I've never
yo,
heard
my
anyone
brother.
say that ever.
That's like in the UK when you say yo, my brother.
Yeah, but a lot of people they don't understand that. Like me personally, I don't enjoy saying it. I've never said it. You know what I'm saying? But I've never heard anyone say that around here ever. Not even to say hello, my brother, or anything like that. Nothing.
Yeah, but you're no offense, but you're female. Females don't really use that in their vocabulary on a daily basis.
Some do.
Mm,
I would say some do. It depends
exactly.
on.
That's what I was gonna say.
But
Some
but
Yes.
do.
you're but you're saying the American females do.
Yes.
Now the
Yes.
rest of the world they don't. Females in the rest of the world don't use that in their vocabulary. You won't hear unless they're black or they're of different culture and they're allowed to say it, right? Don't forget in America everybody says it. White, black, Asian, Chinese, Japanese, whatever. Everyone says it. Once in their lifetime they've said the word both ways, right? In Canada, England, Europe, you need permission, sort of.
Wonder if I can say the N-word. Wait, can I really say the N-word? What up, my nigga? What up, my nigga? Big ups, my nigga. We up, my nigga. You pussy ass nigga. Man, fuck y'all niggas. Cause I'm that nigga. I'm that nigga.
You really do. You need permission to say the word. Now, I was stopped in school for saying it. I showed them that I've got black in my family. I've got relatives. I phoned up a cousin and said, yo, speak to him. So
Okay.
I all through school, I had that pass. No one could tell me that I was wrong, whichever way I used it.
Okay.
That's the difference between other countries and America, my opinion.
In Buffalo, you say it's racist as shit up there. Do you have a? I mean, okay, I know that Hispanics use the word, right? I know that you're Colombian, and there's a lot of Hispanics that use that word, right?
I don't use it. I'll
You
say
don't
right
use it.
now. I don't use it. No.
Uh-huh.
I'll admit that I've likely said it like singing a song.
Mhm.
That's the only time that I will have ever had said it at any point for me. I just don't. It's not part of my culture. Like I didn't grow up like using it. I don't know. Like and I'm not just gonna start. I don't know. So, but I will say I feel like I'm super desensitized to it because like all of my friends say it. But like all of my 99% of my friends are Black. So I don't know, like to me, I hear it all the time, but it's like I always just, I don't know, it's like they're my friends, they're American, they're whatever, but like I never thought about it as far as like other countries go, because it's like I don't like have, like I don't know, I just never thought about it. I know it's obviously derived from America, but I just didn't think about it like that.
Got you. Yeah, no, I mean everybody's views on that is very different, right? But I mean, it does only affect a certain kind of people, right? You guys gotta keep that in mind. It only does affect a certain kind of people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that word, this is my honest opinion on that. Being born and raised in the Bronx and observing my environment, I feel you guys do know that you guys know this. YouTube don't know this. I classify my Black people, right? There's American Blacks, there's African Americans, and then
Yeah.
there's what Caribbean Blacks, right? I do that. Some people take offense to it. I don't give a fuck. I feel like that those three categories that are listed are entitled to use that word, say that word. They've been called that word. That word has been used to refer to them. But I think that American Blacks often use that to take personally in a way.
In their
They
advantage.
literally use that word to be victimized because they want to be victimized. Some of them do. They feel like America owes them something. Now, this is I'm not gonna get into all of that, but I will say this. I do feel like America owes Black people reparations. You give it to Native Americans, I feel like it's only fair that you give it to, Black people. For what the 400 years of what they've gone through, they literally, in a sense, free labor built this country.
Yeah.
So I feel like reparations are owed, but I do feel like they use that word and in a certain way to be victimized. Some of them do. I'm not saying all of them do this, right? That word has been transformed over time. It took different, it became a synonym, right?
I have a question. You know, you said carbonated or water, coffee, it makes you burp.
Mhm.
Does sperm, when you swallow sperm, does that make you burp as well then? Well, it's liquid, so
Oh man, I could just
She got up and laughed.
could you imagine the amount of kids in her throat right now doing the Harlem?
I think David's kids are stuck in the throat. That's why they burp.
Oh, you nasty fucker. Stop bringing
Oh,
that
man.
midget up, will you?
Well,
Oh
answer
my
the question.
Oh my god.